Are we good, Sarah?
You're live.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Committee of the Whole meeting of Tuesday, December 15th, 2020 at 7:03 p.m. for the Village of Walton Hills. This meeting is being live streamed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We are following House Bill 404 that allows public bodies to meet electronically through July 2021. Okay, roll call.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Here.
Councilman Linville.
Present.
Councilwoman Allen.
Here.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Here.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Here.
Councilman Whedon.
Here.
All of council present, along with our fiscal officer, Angela Reve, and our law solicitor, John Montello. John, you just want to go through the legislation and just read it? And
2020-25, a resolution confirming the appointment of Stephen Vilk as a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals of the Village of Walton Hills and declaring an emergency.
Okay, we had that position posted. We also interviewed the 4 candidates. I would like to ask for council support this evening to vote for Mr. Velk in our council meeting. Is there any questions? Just so everybody knows, and I did talk to Mr. Velk about it, according to the ordinance, you have to fulfill the term of the person that resigned. And that term is in the ordinance. So the term would expire on February 6, 2024. That's the remainder of Mr. Holden's term. So that's in there. That might be the only thing that changed.
Mayor Colograph,
Yes.
if there's no other discussion on this item, I would like to introduce this for our suspension.
In the council meeting, you can do that.
Well, I mean, just wanted,
Right.
so when we get to the council meeting, you already know who's introducing.
Right, that'd be great. In the council meeting, you can introduce it for suspension and Mr. Weed.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Any questions on that?
Mr. Mayor, just to clarify for the residents, that's being introduced for suspension because that position is currently open, and we would like to get it filled as quickly as possible.
Correct. And we've had discussion on it. We had an executive session and discussed the position too, and we had interviews and stuff, so. Very good. Okay. Any other questions related to Resolution 2020-25? Okay. Mr. Montalvo?
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2020-10, an ordinance to make temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the village during the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2021 and ending March 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
I'll have, if anybody, maybe Angela, just kind of,
Yeah.
just touch base on that a little
Absolutely.
bit.
First off, Jennifer did point out on page 2, under the street construction, it should have been $204,431. So for the purposes of signing legislation, I updated that, which will update the total at the bottom by $1 as well. I basically, right now, took this budget as exactly a quarter of every line item we talked about last week and a quarter of current salaries. There are no vehicle purchases, no huge, capital purchases in here. And so there is a little bit of road money in there, as you see, because we may need to start paying Fabrizi on the other, on
Dunham
Dunham.
Road.
And I do need to pay Agresta on our concrete work in January, so that's in there. And we will probably revisit this sooner rather than later. This can take us through March. We don't have to pass a permanent budget until April 1st. But I figured let's start with something. And as we finish up with the CBA, then we'll know more for salaries and we can have a permanent. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that this time of year, we're usually more prepared to also approve a final appropriations for this year so that the county can recertify us. Due to the fact that I need to undo all of those reimbursements on our road projects, and due to the fact that we awarded the Dunham contract this year, I still have to update. I'm prepared with every other number, but I gotta work on the capital figure, because that's gonna change drastically from what was in the original approved appropriations. So at our first January meeting, we'll go ahead and take a look at that. And then if you need time, you can take time before you approve it. But then that will be our updated figures through the end of the year, and we'll recertify those to the county and get a new certificate of estimated resources based on that. Because right now, there was only $250,000 in that capital line, and it'll significantly be different based on Dunham project and based on what we've already paid out once I undo the reimbursements that went against expenses. Any questions?
Well, I had a general question,
Yeah.
when we get toward the end of the year, how does the village council, the finance committee, or however it's done, how do we handle transfers from one?
So basically, the transfers are actually made by myself or Katie in the past, and they've already been approved in the beginning of the year. And so I did review them, and I also just had Katie double check me the other day. The transfers that are currently in there, I was gonna give you legislation for a transfer that I mentioned that was budgeted, but that wasn't approved. In looking at that, because we have the Dunham money in there currently, I don't think we need to make that transfer. So the rest of our transfers will go as planned, as they were budgeted earlier in the year, or we don't need any more, let's put it that way. Don't need to approve anything additional for that. So I will make those transfers, that the budgeted amounts go to, they're all from the general fund into the other funds, so that we, make sure we bring into the positive our capital improvement fund, our police pension funds if it would be in the negative, our water meter repair fund, and then I'm thinking there's one other one in the beginning of there. There's another big one in there, but, so those, we're good with what we had already approved for that.
So are there
And
any-
when we do the final appropriations, if anything would need to change, we'll vote on it within that final, and we can then make those transfers again as well.
So are there any transfers necessary that were not budgeted for, any funds that are? over?
Not yet, but I'll let you know once I move everything on the capital improvement side. As of right now, what we've got, I think we had 510,000 in there for transfers. So it covers it. Once I undo all those other items and move everything over and put the Fabrizi award in there, put the actual contract and the encumbrance in for the project, because we do have to encumber the entire project this year because we awarded it, then I will let you know. That would maybe be the only line item we'll have to change. None of the others should change at this point. Just capital improvement. And those will be made before, December report 52 even comes out and everything. So that we'll have a very good idea then, like, okay, here's where we stand. So let's take our budget from there. Okay.
Our goal is, and I think everybody too, is we'd like to get, maybe a permanent budget in January.
Oh, yeah, sooner rather than later. Really, the holdup is just finishing up stuff with the CBA and knowing where we're at with salaries. And a few expenditures. So one thing I want to put out there to everybody too is keep in mind, in this new year, knowing we need a dump truck. Rob came to me today, the chipper was down, our chipper's from 2002. The truck to take the chipper was down and getting fixed by George. One of our other trucks we're gonna use went down. And knowing we need police, we may have to start looking at capital leases. And I think in the past, Katie may have, but because we don't have credit, the interest rate may have been high. I'd have to talk to her about why we never did any capital leases. But it might be something we're gonna need to visit, depending, our safety of our workers obviously is important, and our equipment itself being so old. So just keep that in the back of your minds. And I would always obviously give you information, and I'll look into all of that myself as well, so that if we do need to replace something, we're not doing it on the fly necessarily, and we can better prepare for it and see what a lease would cost us. And that we can always, if we have money coming in later that we didn't expect, then we can always pay more on our leases. So keep that in mind, please.
We did, just to mention, the quote for the radios.
Came in a little high, yeah.
A little
so
higher than anticipated. They're revisiting that.
Shannon is revisiting, and she's gonna go direct to the vendor. The quote was from Motorola. I did ask her why would that quote be so much higher than we budgeted for
Last year.
originally, and she said she thinks they actually misquoted. So that was another thing that Stan and I talked about. They might have, rather than have to try to piece it out, they may also have some kind of like short-term, lease to buy option, so that if we can get to a better price, they can do the whole piece of it. The grant money will come in, that will cover part of it, and then, as other funding comes in, then we can cover the rest of it. Because we were anticipating like 40,000, I think, and it came in at about 77 currently.
Right.
Shannon's also gonna go direct to the vendor that makes the radios to see if there can be better pricing from them.
We're looking into that just to kind of get
So that
something
might be a
happening
little
there.
delay, but yeah. I know. So, there's always some little caveat to something,
Not a good surprise.
but,
But
no.
We'll see. The chief and Shannon and Angela aren't done with it yet. so.
No, and we've been fortunate to pay things, pay cash for things here. That's not, most cities don't do that. Most cities do have some kind of capital leases for copiers, for vehicles, for small items, and so it wouldn't be unheard of for us to need to do that, depending on what we're purchasing or what we're doing and how short-term it can be. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I had another comment. Last week, we received a document from our village engineer, kind of a platform or format of projections for capital expenditures on infrastructure side,
Yes.
not for vehicles or equipment. And I really hope when January comes, we can really have a in-depth conversation around how we can budget, really take a good hard look at budgeting. He's already done the work.
Absolutely.
We already have a 5-year projection. And I think now the work is on council to try to determine, where those projects can really fit in. Some are more critical than others, some are just old, some have safety impacts. And so I really hope when we get to this, when January 5th comes, Mr. Chairman, Infrastructure Chairman, that we can really have an in-depth conversation around infrastructure capital
Absolutely.
projects.
Okay,
All right.
any other questions? I know we went over the, just for the residents input, last two COW meetings, and last COW meeting last week, we went over the budget, line item for line item, with projections for next year. So we got a very good feel for our budget moving forward, but I think with discussion from council last week and the administration, that a temporary budget right now is very appropriate and probably the right thing to do. We know we're not complete with the collective bargaining agreement, and with that said, if we do go into the new year, that would be retroactive for them, just to put that out, which is common. But then we would have those numbers there, we would have a really good idea, that we can plug those in, of course, with discussion with any other capitals as far as infrastructure or some of the capital improvements for equipment. So I think we're moving in the right direction. We're being cautious, and we'll have also the year end, we'll have our whole year complete. So I'm glad we're moving in that direction. Any other questions about the legislation, item A or item B? I thought we'd have a committee of the whole, just in case there was some further discussion, but I know we talked quite a bit about it, and you were able to look at it. And at the time, I wasn't sure if we were gonna go with a permanent budget or the temporary, so I just wanted to make sure we had enough time, just in case we did go with a permanent, and we had to have more discussion on that. But with the temporary, I had a feeling would be less discussion, so. But we're already in the groove with both meetings scheduled, so. With that said, I don't have any business for the committee of the whole. We can, unless anyone else does, we can adjourn and go right into the council meeting.
Just a clarification, Mayor. Angela, on the second page that Ms. Allen brought up about that figure that was off, you're going to change
It's off by
that to
$1, correct.
Yeah, it's off by
So
$1.
I corrected it for what's gonna get signed by the mayor and I.
Okay.
So for streets, it'll be a total of 204,431, and then the temporary total at the bottom would be 2,048,561.
Okay, thank you.
And I can
Did
email-
everybody get that, or?
I can email a corrected copy as well.
No, John, we don't have to amend that, that just can be a clerical.
It's a rounding error.
That's a minor error, okay.
Backwards error, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
It's not
Just, it was
material.
just that one odd dollar that I saw sitting there, and I'm like,
I just want to make sure, because, I'm trying to have that meeting on December
Christmas?
December 24th,
Trying to have
and
a-
Jennifer's helping me out there, maybe.
yep.
I don't want to be in the doghouse by myself, right? Okay, so we're good then, okay. Any other comments, or any questions related to that? Okay. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the COW meeting of December 15th, 2020.
Second.
Second. And Mr. Whedon, vote on the motion.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passed, 6-0. Okay. When everybody's ready, we can start the, any questions from the residents? That's one thing I did.
No questions from the residents.
Okay. That's one thing. I apologize for that to any residents. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the regular council meeting. I'd like to welcome any of the residents too. So. Okay, here we go. We'll start this. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular council meeting of the Village of Walton Hills, Tuesday, December 15th, 2020, at 7:21 p.m. This meeting is being live streamed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We are following House Bill 404 that allows public bodies to meet electronically through July 2021. Okay. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to take a moment of silence for our deceased residents, Jerry Scott, James Carvana Sr., Edmund Evans, and a former resident, Tom Maljak, and also our military personnel.
Mayor, if I may, there's another name I came across when I was looking up for minutes, Beverly Jean Perry.
And Beverly Jean Perry. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Here.
Councilman Linville?
Present.
Councilwoman Allen?
Here.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Here.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Here.
Councilman Whedon?
Present.
All of council here, along with our fiscal officer, Angela Reve, and our law solicitor, John Montello. Like to ask for a motion approval of the regular council meeting minutes of January 21st,
Mr. Mayor,
2020.
I'd like to ask for approval of the regular council meeting minutes of January 21st, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Whedon.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Yes.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Weed.
Yes.
Minutes passed, 6-0. Item B, regular council meeting minutes of February 18, 2020.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for approval of the regular meeting minutes of February 18th, 2020.
Is there a
Second.
second? Mary?
Second.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Yes.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Weed.
Yes.
Okay, item C, regular council meeting minutes. Those minutes passed on February 18th. Now for regular council meeting minutes of April 21st, 2020.
Mayor Coldegraff, members of council, I'd like to introduce, I'd like to move for adoption of the regular council meeting minutes of April 21st, 2020.
Second.
Second by Mr. Linville.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Yes.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Weed.
Yes.
Okay, minutes passed, 6-0. Item D, regular council meeting minutes of June 16th, 2020.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for approval of the regular council meeting minutes of June 16th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mary.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Yes.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Weed.
Yes.
Minutes passed, 6-0. Thank you, everybody. Item E, regular council meeting minutes of November 17th, 2020.
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Spitznagel.
I'd like to ask for approval of the regular council meeting minutes of November 17th, 2020.
Second.
Second by Mr. Linville or Gloria, who got it?
Linville.
Linville, okay.
Sorry, Gloria. Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Here.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Weed.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Minutes passed.
And that ends your marathon reading. When we return, we'll have the 3 December meetings in whichever order, COW for that. And then that February, hopefully I can find some audio if dispatch had recorded it February 4th of this last year. That's all we're missing, so.
We're getting there.
We'll be back on track to hopefully every other meeting, 360 should have our stuff done and we'll have minutes
Oh, great.
instead. So, and we'll put you on the marathon reading, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Okay. At the mayor's report, mayor's monthly court report. This is for November 2020. The total revenue, well, the revenue for that period, for that month of November 2020 is $18,908.14. Year-to-date for the court, we're at $182,233.46, and that is down from last year. Last year, we were at $265,874.19. Okay. I do have the police report here. The Walton Hills, this is for November 2020 also. The Walton Hills Police Department issued 132 citations in the month of November. The predominant violation was speeding with 43 citations, followed by 16 citations written for driving under suspension and 10 citations for traffic control lights. There were 4 arrests for driving while under the influence of alcohol and drugs. Not good. That does it for the mayor's report. Any council comments? Any comments from residents? Go ahead, Laura.
Okay. I'd like to read Recreation Department report for December 2020. The senior lunch, we had 56 residents registered for the senior lunch through November. We are currently taking reservations for the next senior lunch next Wednesday, December 28th. Beginning in January, senior drive-through lunches will be changed to the last Thursday of each month. Please note, it will be the last Thursday of each month. Transportation services. We are currently adding residents to our transportation service list. This service is a big help to the residents in the event that they cannot drive if it is temporary. Eye doctor appointments, rehab appointments, etc. Tree lighting event was much different than any other year at the event center due to COVID-19. We had 50-plus residents who came out to see the Christmas lights turned on, and they made the best of it while they waited patiently in their cars. Thank you to the Czech families, specifically Chaz and Alana, for helping the mayor by turning on the Christmas lights for this year. Santa delivery was held on Saturday, December the 12th, and we delivered presents to 62 families. Food donations, we are still getting leftover pastries, breads, and bagels from Giant Eagle and Panera Bread on a weekly basis from the Gospel House. If you know of any resident that could use the extra food, please call the event center at 440-786-2964. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any other reports? You want to read them later, or?
I can do it now.
Okay, that's
If
fine.
that's all right, might as well. I have an updated report from Tom Jordan. Everybody should have a copy. We are still awaiting the federal relief package. Upon its release, we will provide businesses with the information that will benefit Walton Hills small businesses. Ford has entered into a purchase agreement with the developer for the Walton Hills stamping plant. The buyers are in due diligence currently. Ford confirmed that they are completing an extensive environmental cleanup of the site and are pursuing approval of the work from the EPA. The annual meeting of the Joint Economic Development District was held on December 9th. At the meeting, the annual budget was approved, tax assessment, and the election of officers. A general discussion on services provided to the district by Sagamore Hills Township and Walton Hills was held. We are working with a prospective purchaser of a vacant property in the industrial park to relocate from outside the county. We worked with the county DOD and the National Development Council to offer the new buyer an incentive package to locate here in Walton Hills. The purchaser has a commitment on the private financing for the deal. Also, during due diligence, they found a structural defect. When the purchase has been finalized, we will disclose the purchaser. The documents relative to the sale of the land bank have been forwarded to Smith & Obie. In turn, Smith Obie has requested further information of the environmental condition at the site from the village and the state of Ohio. The letter to the EPA requesting technical assistance to record the environmental documents necessary to complete the cleanup of 7010 Crick Road was sent. The EPA has acknowledged receiving the request. We are awaiting their response. The last item is we continue to respond to inquiries from the state website on our available properties. Thank you. And thank you to Mr. Jordan.
Okay, very good. Any other council comments at this time? Just, Rob didn't have a report at this time, but as you know, the Dunham Road reconstruction project is getting ready to go. There is an electronic sign as you come out of Dunham, given the dates. They've already put all the barrels, start putting the barrels up, and that is scheduled still for January 4th, 2021, after the holidays, to start and be completed 6/11/2021. So it will be started in winter and be done in spring there, so that's all a good thing. And that was in last month's journal, and a letter did go out to the surrounding residents in those areas there. on Dunham Road and also at Ryan Estates, explaining it. And we'll keep them updated. Joe and Rob will continue to keep them updated and work with everybody on that. And I know Jennifer had a comment about, we did talk to, and Joe did talk to the fire chief about emergency services. And with that said, they'll, if they have to, they can go up there, they can go against it. They would just have our police lead the way. Because while the project is taking place, there will be a policeman there too. But also, they said if there were to be a problem, they will, they got an agreement with Maple Heights to work with them through this project mutually. They didn't foresee that as a problem. The chief said, we are usually the first responders, and we always make sure there's a path for the fire department too. So I know we talked about that. I think Mr. Whedon did discuss them too, and with the chief and Jennifer. So, okay. Any other comments before?
If I may.
Yes.
Give everybody a little update on the chipping. As I mentioned, the service department was making time this week to go around for all the residential chipping. So if anyone contacts you, please have them still just get their branches out. They're only making one pass, but the chipper had been down and got up probably a little bit later today, I think. They were able to get that part fixed and get that out. So just tell everyone to please be patient, but make sure they continue to just get their things out, because we're not making 2 passes. We're gonna go through one time for all the residential stuff, so, okay. Thank you.
And Angela, that was the truck for the chipper that was down.
The truck
Because
that
that's the
collects
new-
the chips was down, but then
Right.
the chipper itself went down.
Oh.
Correct. So the chipper got back up and running quickly, and then George is working on that truck, and like I said, they went to attach to another truck, which then would not start. So we did have a third truck, and I said, Rob, are we going out or not? Like, I just need to know if people call. So they were gonna be sending it out at some point today, so in case people feel like, oh, we got passed by, it just may be that they didn't get out there yet, so, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So,
We've been working them hard. The equipment plus the guys have been doing a great job.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Tom Jordan's here now, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
You missed him peeking around the corner.
Oh, okay. Any other council comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
just a quick thank you to Angela. She got these minutes out, and they've, as residents saw, some of these were from January still, and they weren't done. So we're on the right track, and thank you, Angela. I know this isn't all you concentrated on this last week or two, and it's much appreciated that you get us back up to speed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any comments from any residents?
no resident comments at this time.
Okay. Do we want to move on to the legislation? Okay. Mr. Reed.
Mayor Colgraf, members of council, I'm introducing resolution 20-25, the appointment of Stephen Velk to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
For suspension.
I'm introducing for suspension, resolution 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, let suspension pass 6-0. Vote on the approval.
Mayor Colgraf, I'm requesting approval of resolution number 2025, a resolution confirming the appointment of Stephen Velk as a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals of the Village of Walton Hills and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Second by Mr. Spitznagel.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, appointment pass 6-0. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations, Mr. Bell.
Yes.
I think we got a good one too, Mayor.
Yes, we do.
Good.
Yes,
I think so too.
Yeah.
Is Mr. Velk on?
I don't know. I don't get to see.
The reason I say, he did ask me if he could attend. I said he could attend it virtually. I am going to swear him in this week. We're hoping to do it Friday here in council chambers.
Good.
But he was, said he was going to get on it, so I thought but just so you know, he was appreciative and excited about getting started and being part of it.
He is here. He said, "Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for your consideration and appointment. I look forward to serving the village and the residents."
Congratulations, Mr. Bell. Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
That's it.
Okay. Would somebody like to introduce 2020-10?
I will, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to introduce 2020-10 for suspension, 2021 temporary appropriations.
Second. Ray got it.
Okay. Second.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Yes.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Weed.
Yes.
Okay. Suspension passed. Vote on the approval.
I'd like to ask for approval of ordinance 2020-10.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Brian.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Yes.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Weed.
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 2020-10 passed. Thank you, everybody. Any old or new business does anybody have?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd read a couple of articles recently about cities sending resolutions to the State House asking for the Congress and Senate to repeal House Bill 6. That was the big energy
The energy.
bill that was found to have a lot of bribery in it. So I'd just like to ask for you guys to think about that. Maybe we can discuss it more next year. But I'd like to put it out there that I would like us to send collectively a resolution asking them to repeal that.
Okay, we can put that on the list. So you want it on the COW meeting in January?
Sure.
Okay. Any other old or new business? The only thing I have would be the Dunham Road reconstruction project, which we talked about. Just a reminder to everybody, that project will start January 4th of 2021. And we'll keep everybody posted on that as we move forward. As you know, we passed a temporary budget, so in January, our first COW meeting will be about that. And also, we'll see where we're at with the collective bargaining agreement too. So I think that's it for that. Anybody else have anything? Otherwise, I'd just like to wish all our residents and council and the administration, everybody here, nice Christmas and happy holidays, and look forward to the year. Because I'm going to ask to go into executive session just so everybody knows that might be watching. We're going to go in for economic development and pending litigation, and when we come back, we're just going to adjourn the meeting. But go ahead.
Yes. Mayor Colograph, I did have one comment. I just want to publicly thank the Real Housewives of Walton Hills
Oh, that's right. That's good.
and the Walton Hills Lake Club for the Walking in Winter Wonderland lighting contest this year. Of course, with 2020 being the year that it has been, it's been a challenge. To have something like that in our community was a great benefit. But also, it shows just how much our community cares about our community. And when volunteers come together and pull a program like that, we didn't have to lean on the recreational department or committee of a bunch of residents come together. And I just wanted to thank them for that effort. You know, I'm still gleaning from that experience. I may even drive around again tonight. Thank you all for that.
Any other comments? I would just like to ditto that. I think that was a great thing, and it went well really with Santa delivery and the tree lighting. It complemented the village programs, and it was really a nice thing. And I appreciate all the residents that participated in those events and our events too. It really brought the people together during a tough time. So I hope everybody enjoys the holidays and stuff. Anybody else, any other comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I would just like to echo the same thing. It was a fabulous program. I spoke with Michelle Velk a couple of times, and they really did pull together something great. And I love the ornament that I got. So, but I think it's a great thing, and I really hope that they'll consider continuing it as a new tradition for the village.
Okay, and you know, with that said, and I think I think I'm going to speak for everybody here, and I didn't mean to overlook it. It's just it seems like we got always so much work in our last meeting and coming. I just want to thank not only the residents, but all the employees this year, and council, and all the administrative staff. It's been a tough year, and we've worked through this, from virtual meetings to more conversations over the phone, less meeting in person, and our employees have done a great job of protecting themselves, protecting other people, and just continue to serve the residents here. And so I guess that's something we should all note for the year, which we always do. And I know this council is always very supportive of the employees. And just want to say thank you to them too. Okay. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss economic development and pending litigation.
Second.
Second by Mr. Whedon.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Trulowski?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
And to any residents, when we do reconvene, we will reconvene and then adjourn the meeting. Okay, thank you. Sarah, we will come back out to reconvene. Okay. Let us know, do we want to tell them? Let them know not to record anything.
Dean from executive session.
Is there a second, Mr. Whedon?
Second.
Did I say-
Mr. Whedon moved.
Okay.
Okay.
Vote on the motion.
That was, for clarity's sake, that was Mr. Whedon making the motion, Ms. Brenner Miller, Councilwoman Brenner Miller seconding.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Trulowski?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay. We are back from executive session. Can I ask for a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Second by Gloria Chalowski.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Trulowski?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Council meeting adjourned at 10:03 p.m.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Stay healthy.
Yes, everybody stay healthy and, yeah.
I heard on the radio that they're dropping you off at the Veterans Home.